Yeah, I got it. I'll get it. Continue, right. If you can kindly find your seats. Thank you. Welcome to the Trade, Travel, and Tourism Committee. I'm Chairman Joe Buscaino. I'm joined by my colleague, Councilmember Mike Bonin. And Herman, do not disrupt this meeting with those silly noises. It's your last warning. Was it Herman or was it the other? Yes, it was you. It's your last warning, okay? Don't disrupt the meeting. So with that, Mr. Bonin, if I can turn your attention to the agenda. We do have one discussion item. I want to hold item number 1 on an item that we continued a few weeks back, the LA Exit Program. And we'll take on consent items 2 through 11.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, we'll take cards on multiple cards. I'm assuming it's going to be Herman. Come on up. 2 minutes, and then we'll do his 1 minute of general public comment.
Yep.
You speak to the items that you pulled, okay?
Yep. I'm on the item CD6, item number 3, niggers. Regarding the LLC to modify rent structure, provide rent relief. Well, it's never going to happen. You just had Peter Lynn, L-Y-N-N for the record, from LASA, quit a $242,000 gig, meaning a job. What a dick. Then, on item number 4, regarding CD6, which is the new bitch cunt president, regarding the board airport, if I was an airport commissioner, fuck the cunt. Then on item 5, another CD6, this bitch is on a roll. How many fucking items can she have? Item number 6, I oppose. Item number 7, I oppose. Item number 8, I don't fucking care. Item number 9, CD11, Bonin's a fucking faggot. Fucking faggot from Los Angeles with Fox Rent-A-Car. Yeah, 30 car rentals, and we have some fucking people from the taxi business that want their jobs too, and I'm hearing their support for 6 rent-a-cars for LLC cunts. Fuck them. Then in CD10, the other little bitch, Mr. Wesson stepped down. Now we have a Board of Harbor Commissions report why niggers resolution on item of the master agreement is not in compliance between the city of Los Angeles and that of Mr. Garcia, the mayor from Long Beach, the fucking wetback dick. Then you got item 11, I'm in favor. Now let me go back to the first fucking item. Motion Buscaino nigger instruct Los Angeles World Airports. Fuck you. Changes to the taxi. No, I'm here to support a taxi.
All right, give me his 1 minute, general public comment.
Well, for some reason, I had my so-called comment card at the podium this afternoon in regards to the trade, travel, and tourism for a museum on item number 2. But for some fucking reason, this racist black bitch, Uncle Tom, Mr. Dawson, said that my card reflected something evil and malicious like a threat. All I said was shoot the nig, Bagdasarian versus United States of Pasadena 2011. That's called protected speech. Hess versus Indiana talks about Mr. Herman taking back the streets again or later. So when you continue to threaten, retaliate, and harass me, I will go to the board of the fucking stupid law people who will give you a fucking license like I did earlier and say, fuck you.
All right, bring up Corey for multiple cards. You'll be given 2 minutes on all the cards that you pulled and then 1 minute of general public comment.
Corey Schmidt for the record. Okay, so we are talking about various things with the airport today. All right, so first on the list that I see most important is talking about the taxi cab and rideshare pickup stuff at the airport. I know it's a huge hub for commerce, and I think we're trying to get rid of it. something like that. I know that Lyft and Uber are destroying the taxi industry, and if we take away this, I think that we're going to really just kind of decimate the taxi industry, because I mean, no one really takes them. You know what I mean? So, and they're way more expensive, and I don't know if we should do that or not, but I just letting you know what the outcome probably will be. Let's see, the golf course over in Van Nuys, I am a fan of. Let's see, number 2 was another marketing. That's fine. Let's see, leases at the airport. It's fine. Roscoe Boulevard. So there's a bunch of CEQA exemptions, and I just want to bring up the fact that we do a lot of these CEQA exemptions, and I'm not sure if you guys care about the environment, because we always do exemptions rather than fulfilling them. Let's see. Mobile services for AT&T. So we're spending about $9 million on wireless stuff. Let's see. And I'm not sure I'm a fan of that, but I mean, we do need phones. Let's see. So we're doing concession agreements for the rental cars over at the airport as well. That's a big business, so I think that's probably a good thing. Let's see. Rail opportunities. Sepulveda. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay, 1 minute.
Okay, so to finalize that, I want to speak about something that does come to mind in terms of transportation. We've been talking about it in West LA. I know you're familiar over there. So Santa Monica Boulevard. You know how it's a parking lot? So I was thinking, it's always going to be a parking lot, because that 405 on-ramp is always just so, there's just no way that we're ever going to conquer that. So I'm thinking we should at least make the street nice. Like, we should have a bike lane and maybe make the sidewalks wider, something like that. Because I know that that's a hot topic over there, but I just think if it's going to be crammed regardless, we might as well make it nice. And medians, like a grassy median, something like that would be cool. Those are my thoughts.
Thank you. Let's bring up Wayne. Come on up. 2 minutes in general public comment. And 1 minute of general public. A general comment.
So I go to this thing here. I drive taxi to fucking airport to pick up fares. And what I see, first we're promised in transportation committee by fucking Bonin to allow to us to use our fucking area up at LAX. We pay for this shit. We go, we give you campaign donations to the fucking nigger, Herb Wesson. And then we give campaign donations to the other nigger, the goddamn current price. And then we give donations to the other nigger, Marquis Zero Dawson. And what do? Now you tell us what we got to fucking wait. How are we going to make money and run the taxi if we can't fucking pick up fare, if we cannot drop off fare? What, people going to go travel and bring their bags and put them bags over their fucking goddamn shoulders, walk 4 miles for a fucking car? No. We need to pick up our fares and drive up to the front and drop off our fares. That's why we have a medallion. In New York, we call it a medallion. You motherfucking niggers call it taxi concession. I call it a medallion. So we have a new union. We're going to unionize. First of all, our first demand is that this greasy fuck Joe Buscaino, that we get him off of this committee, because I never can trust a fucking Italian. And I know these coming from Turkey. I know. I go down to Italy and I see these greasy, filthy fucking Italian assholes. And I know you cannot work for them. They're worse than Jews the way they steal your fucking money. So now we want our refund of all of our taxi fees for the last 10 years so we can drive Uber or give us back our concession. Now we get
Just give us 1 minute.
this fucking committee called the general comment. Now, I know that you got rid of the big fucking little nigger downstairs, the one that smoking cigarettes outside the south lawn. Smoking. He go, hey, Armin, how you doing? I go, yeah, okay, you dumb nigger. I cannot go to LAX. I'll fix it. Give me another campaign donation. Donate over to my nonprofit. I keep paying my campaign donations. That's right, you dirty fucking cop. That's what we do, don't we? We pay to play. You tell us where to send the money. Sometimes it's cash. Sometimes it's in a bag. Sometimes it's in the back of my taxi. So I do what you tell me to fucking do. And now I got nothing here for you. And that's what the city council's all about. These fucking FBI. Who the fuck is the FBI? They go, you could testify. No, I want my money. Give me my fucking money or let me get out of this business.
Okay, is there Jay Slippery? No? Okay, so with that concludes multiple card items. We'll hold one on the desk, and I know we have speakers on item number 1. So with that, we'll approve on consent items 2 through 11 on the regular scheduled agenda. Without objection, I do want to recognize the General Manager of the Department of Convention and Tourism Development, Don Liu, who's here, and Patty McJennett, who's here with the LA Tourism Convention Board. We just approved an item that's going to begin the efforts in negotiating a 10-year agreement with the LA Tourism and Convention Board. So thank you for your leadership and helping us continue to drive one of the leading economies in our region, in our city. So with that, can we turn to the special agenda? We're good on time for that?
We do.
Okay, so with that, Mr. Bonin, do you want to hold any items on the special agenda that's before us? Item 1, 2, 3?
Item number 2.
Item 2, we'll hold. Yeah, so we'll approve item 1 and 3 on consent on this
Before you do,
special.
we have cards on these items.
We do?
Yeah, so it's,
All right, let's hold the special agenda. Let's go back to the regular scheduled agenda and go to item number 1. And we have representatives from the airport here. But before I call on Michelle and the team, I want to, we have a number of speakers. I'd like to hear from them first. So when you hear your name, I'm going to call you 3 at a time. Please come forward and step up and take a seat in front of a microphone. Mohammed Porgistagar. Kamo Sokrabiates, Sokrabians, and Jano Baganian. Jano here? Okay, your name?
Mohammed Purastigar.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
I'm representing United Independent Taxi. Based on Lava chart, taxi cab company are not contributing the traffic congestion. Taxi cab company were serving the community tickets with professional driver, cab owners, invested all of their saving on taxi cab in the hope of they have business to support their family and retirement, which is TNC destroyed their investment unfairly. Lava unfair plan placing taxi cab next to a TNC at the Park 1 create a big mess at LA exit. Driver only source of income at LAX significantly drop, which they cannot continue business like this. They are under stress, going home with empty pocket. Some of the cab drivers already left from entire industry. And if you guys don't help them, the rest of them to back to LAX, very soon will be no taxi cab in Los Angeles.
Thank you, sir. Is it Kamo?
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Good
My
afternoon.
name is Kamo Sokrabians. I represent Independent Cab. I would like to pass this letter.
Please, Sergeants, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Yesterday, we were witness of a strike in the LAX. Cab drivers stopped the airport, and we had a meeting with the authorities inside the airport. That wasn't spontaneous. I was in the office. As soon as I heard the news, I rushed over there to see what happens. If you remember last month, I talked about the same subject, that drivers, they're losing 30 to 40% of their income. And they need to go back inside the airport. If you want to see the taxis in Los Angeles, we playing a big role in this city, servicing hotels, LAX, taxi constituents, rent-a-cars, many, many places. You guys need us and we need you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Jano?
Mr. Chairman, thank you for this opportunity. In the interest of time, because I only have a minute, I handed out a chart that shows the number of trips, the average number of trips we had before we were relocated from the CTA Central Terminal area to after when it occurred on October 29. The red bars are the current number of trips on a daily basis, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the blue is before we were relocated. As you can see, on the Sundays and Mondays, which is the heaviest days that taxis can pick up, you have almost 32%, 32% drop in the number of trips. The worst statistic you can see is the last bar, which is on Sunday. This is comparing the Sunday after Thanksgiving in 2018 to Sunday of this Sunday in 2019, and we had a 37% drop at a total of about 2,850 trips. So the numbers don't lie. We are working with the airport to have a meeting with them to discuss this further with staff, and we appreciate you considering looking into this more.
Thank you, sir. Next three speakers, Kamo Sarkabrians. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Vatran Durohanian, please come forward. Shimelis Datesi Michael. Sam Yeldy. Sam Jeldy, please come forward. Please come forward. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, my name is Vartan Deronian. I'm an operation manager at Beverly's Camp. Just want to ask from airport management, we allowed us to go inside to pick up because we are visible in the color. We have a top light, and most important thing, we have a fixed rate. We don't screw it up with like a Uber or share ride, different rate. They go to airport, like I heard yesterday, they charge like $102, $103 from LAX to airport. We are fixed rate. And also we help our customers. We get up the cab, we put luggage inside the trunk, and also help them to put on the curb. That's what we do. Just I want to ask the airport managers, please let us to go inside for pickup to be survive, our companies.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your testimony. Sir?
Thank you. Yeah, I am a driver in United Independent.
You're Shimelis, right?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, go ahead.
I have been driving taxi for the last 23 years in this city, and I am also a member of the Tax Workers Association in Los Angeles. Ever since we heard this LX adjustment, we've been asking the city not to take out the taxis from the curves that we have been serving. Our demand was not heard. We have been asking for a long time at the Taxi Commission. They never heard us. The DOT knows about it too. They never heard us. Now, the cup is full. People are frustrated and boiling. And that's what happened yesterday. Drivers stopped working. And this is a sign of frustration that we are afraid to come. And this is happening right now. And please put us back in the terminal to pick up customers and do the service. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is it Leon? Is it Sam or Leon?
Sam, Joe.
Sam, go ahead. And then is there Leon Slomovic? Please come forward. Thanks, Leon. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, good afternoon. And my name is Sam Jeldy. I am in this business over 30 years, different position in taxi industry. At this moment, I'm 68 years old. I'm driving a cab after the Uber situation. Yesterday, I was driving. It was the busiest day, and it was a huge mess in airport. Over 500 people were waiting on the line. Driver wouldn't strike. Mr. Sanchez came from the lava to the lot and picked up 10 of us. We went there. We had a huge discussion over there over 2 hours. and for 1 minute, I cannot express my situation. We are dying. I'm asking you, please get the report of yesterday, because all the 10 people were there. They were all the driver, and you're going to get a huge impact about yesterday's situation. I suggested at least to do a 3 months pilot plan for us to take us back. If not working, take us back.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Leon?
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
gentlemen. So you've heard from drivers more than once about the devastating effect. I also wanted to remind you that unlike TNCs and limousines, we're franchises of the city, and you have a certain responsibility to the franchisees, aside from all the other modes of transportation. The graphs that I just passed out gives you a pretty good idea, and that's the LAX data. That's not our data. There's certainly more than enough space. Based on LAWA's information, we take 18.5% of the inner curb space, which is 1/4 of the space. So which means that the space we take is the one that is assigned to us by LAWA, and it's proportionate to the number of vehicles. Also, based on LAWA's information, we're the most efficient service providers in LAX. This is not, again, our data. This is LAWA's data. And we're organizing and expect to hear from us more often and in more stringent terms than before.
Thank you. Michael Geeler, please come forward. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So I'm here to talk about on behalf of the taxi cabs. My problem is with the actual TNC system that's been put in place at the airport. And my issue is that the prearrangement conditions are no longer met. There is a simple code that one receives on their phone, and they come up and they take the first available. And if the first available goes ahead and refuses, the next available will take it. There's no more prearrangement. It's a sham. The prearrangement is shown to be that code. However, it's the same thing as maybe prepaying and showing a voucher and saying, well, will you take me? I'm going here. I think the TNCs are now operating exactly the same way as a taxi cab, and I think that is the biggest problem. So I believe that one of the things that needs to be looked at by LAX is that particular arrangement. That needs to stop. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I don't see him unless our gadflies are playing. Is it Chief Hunt here? Okay, I didn't think so. Okay, with that, I'd like to ask the LAWA to come forward. We continued an item a few weeks ago in response to the concerns, complaints that we had from passengers coming in and out of LAX on the LA exit. It was new, it was green, literally, that too. So we wanted, the committee felt that it'd be good to get a 1-month update specifically after the Thanksgiving holiday, and just want to see where we're at and have those times improved.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Councilmember Bonin, for this opportunity to return here today. We are very appreciative of all of the Michelle Schwartz, I'm the Chief External Affairs Officer at LAWA, and we're very appreciative of all of the advice, feedback, suggestions we have received over the past month regarding LA Exit, and we think that the results do speak for themselves. Today is our first day of week 6 of the implementation of LA Exit, and since we were last here 4 weeks ago today, we have seen 4 straight weeks of efficient operations. We were asked to report back on shuttle wait times and a number of other metrics. So looking at it by the numbers, excluding the super peaks that we saw on Thanksgiving, which I'll get to in a little bit, shuttle wait times have been consistent at 3 to 5 minutes. On average, it's 11 minutes from the time that you board your shuttle to arriving at LA exit, longer or shorter, depending on which terminal you're coming from. The average wait times for all of the modes there, taxis, Lyft, and Ubers, have been consistently less than 10 minutes and frequently no wait at all. And the time, we have also been tracking how long it takes to drive from each of the hold lots to the entrance to LA exit. On average, it's been 7 minutes or less from each of those hold lots for the taxis and the ride app vehicles. On average, then the drive time from entering LA exit to picking up a passenger for each of those modes has been from 2 to 6 minutes. Now I'm back. How do I get back? Okay, thanks. Okay, so how we got there is that we've made a lot of improvements since we were here 4 weeks ago today. So we have expanded the lot. We did this the day after we were last here. We expanded the lot by 50% on November 6th. We also then did an increased expansion of the lot right around Thanksgiving. We created a new separate entrance for Lyft vehicles off of Little Century, thereby separating out that traffic, and also a second left turn pocket off of Skyway for the taxis and Ubers. We created a dedicated queuing area for the Lyft vehicles so that they would not back up onto Little Century and create traffic leading onto Century. We installed canopies and a number of other improvements that are ongoing all the time in signage, roadway markings, the shuttles, staffing, and the traffic routes. And we have seen that guests have had an improved experience as a result. We surveyed more than 1,200 LAX guests over the course of a week, and 82% of them said that LA Exit met or exceeded their expectations. We knew that Thanksgiving would create a challenge, as it always does at our airport and at every airport across the country, and so we took a number of measures to prepare very aggressively for Thanksgiving. We did a lot of media outreach, both on social media and through traditional media. Explaining that these were the busiest travel days of the year, explaining what to expect, and that this was a national record for travel. We added operational resources, including traffic officers from LADOT and from our own officers. And we had a 24/7 traffic management center, which is something that we had implemented at the beginning of LA Exit, but we're staffing that very fully over the Thanksgiving peak. The full LAWA executive team was on site for the Super Peak on December 1st, as well as yesterday, which was actually just as busy, arrival and departure-wise. And one of the things that we were very happy to be able to do this year was to add additional mass transit options to present alternatives for our guests. So that included adding to each one of our flyaway routes, adding additional daily trips for all of those. And we saw that the ridership increased a great deal on all of those routes as a result. We also added more flyaway curbside coordinators. We added new supplemental shuttles to take people to transit, both the G bus that goes to the Metro Green Line station and the bus that goes to the bus transit center. And we offered free rides on transit. That was something that LAWA was able to do, partnering with transit agencies. So Big Blue Bus, Culver City Transit, Metro Green Line. We offered those free rides. We also created a new LAX Holiday Shuttle. This was something that we launched to and from both Century City and Santa Monica, and we launched it really the day before the Thanksgiving peak and first announced it then. And actually, I have some updated numbers since this was sent in because we got numbers for yesterday. So over the course of that time, this $10 shuttle, we had 310 passengers, which for something that we launched, right before the holiday peak is not bad. And we'll look at whether we can do that again in the future and continue to grow that. So the Thanksgiving results that we saw, already talked about the increased mass transit ridership. We had.
Can you go back, Michelle, on that
Yes,
last
of
slide?
course. Yeah.
Just had a question. Something came up in our senior staff meeting with staff member of mine's mom who had to wait an hour for a flyaway bus to get to Union Station. What are we averaging on our wait times on flyaway buses?
Yeah, so
we want to
those
incentivize
were,
folks. So
yeah, they were definitely variable, and I know that when I was on the ground on Sunday walking through the CTA, I saw some flyaway buses that were full. Because of adding these trips, we had them coming through every 15 minutes, but we saw the popularity, and we saw that we likely need to keep looking at how we can continue to augment that service.
okay.
And so we did see smooth operations leading up to Thanksgiving, including the very heavy travel day on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. On the Sunday super peak, we saw smooth but consistently busy operations. The wait times for all modes were generally 20 minutes or less for most of the day. We saw a couple of really big peak spikes in the evening, and there were wait times for some modes at those times exceeding 20 minutes, but we worked swiftly to resolve those and to resolve the traffic congestion because at those times everybody gets stuck in the traffic. And then yesterday we did see smooth operations on another super peak day. We were also asked to report back on assistance for disabled, seniors, and families. We have a significant amount of staff assistance, both at the shuttle stops, where we have staff who are helping to load luggage, helping guests board. Additionally, at the LA exit lot to help guests with unloading luggage and getting to their preferred mode. We have at LA exit ADA-compliant restrooms, including an adult changing area. We have walkways that are clear and at least 4 feet in all pedestrian areas. We have provided wheelchairs and even increased the number of wheelchairs that are available at LA exit.
Can you get? I'm going to ask Herman to be ejected from this meeting. Goodbye. You've been warned. You got to go. I'm sorry, Michelle. You got to go. You're disrupting this meeting. Okay, he continues to disrupt this meeting by taking his sweet time to getting out. You got to go. Let's go. Sorry, Michelle.
No problem. We also have a priority pickup area for those requesting accessible vehicles at LA Exit, and Access LA for those who are registered with LA Access LA. Those service vehicles do continue to pick up at the terminal curbs, and we continue to look at additional ways that we can be of help to those communities. We were also asked to report back on taxis, and I appreciate all of the comments that have been made during the public comment period. I had the opportunity to sit down with, I think it was mentioned, 10 taxi drivers. I think it ended up being about 25 taxi drivers for 2+ hours yesterday, and so I really appreciate the opportunity to hear from them. So going back before LA Exit, for the year leading up to the launch of LA Exit, we held about 20 coordination meetings with taxi companies. We looked at the time before LA Exit. At that time, taxis accounted for, as was mentioned by Mr. Slivovich, 18.5% of the inner curb space on the lower level. And with 30% of the inner curb closing for construction, we simply do not have that space anymore. Taxis at that time were the only mode that was ever permitted to store vehicles in the central terminal area. And before LA Exit, they had queuing space for up to 54 taxis on 9 loading zones in the CTA. When we opened LA Exit, because of all of that coordination with taxi companies over the previous year, we gave taxis the priority first curb that was closest to the shuttle drop-off, also known as Zone 1. We also provided queuing space for up to 66 vehicles, which is actually 12 more than existed in the central terminal area. Since opening LA Exit, we have continued to engage. We moved the...
So again, just to be clear, you're allowing more queuing space for the taxis in the LA Exit area, correct?
Correct.
Compared to what was given in the CTA?
Correct.
Okay.
Since opening LA Exit, we have moved the Uber and Lyft. When we opened it, there were a couple of spots at the beginning of that Zone 1 that were being used for some of the Uber and Lyft products, like Uber Pool and the Lyft shared rides and some of those other products. Those have been moved out of Zone 1 so that taxis have essentially all of Zone 1 except for a couple of spaces that are for Opoly, which has light usage. We also worked with the taxi companies and dispatch on a expansion pilot program at zones 8 and 9, which was piloted on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And as has been mentioned, a meeting yesterday with some of our other leadership with taxi drivers, and we have another meeting that is scheduled with taxi companies for this Thursday morning. So we will continue to engage. We want to hear those concerns. There were a number of ideas that were raised yesterday, a number of concerns that we are looking into.
Okay.
And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Mr. Bonin?
Just a couple. I want to thank you for all the work you've done over the past few weeks. I know it was a very, very difficult start. Things have definitely improved. The feedback I'm seeing on social media and getting from friends and family has all been that things are much, much improved. Really appreciate the way you immediately expanded capacity and went into the second lot. After the last time we met, in fact, I just got an email from someone. They said they flew back into LAX last night around 9 p.m. They walked out of the terminal at 9:15. Was on the shuttle within 4 minutes, and the shuttle ride took 9 minutes. I was in an Uber and out of airport traffic within 20 minutes of exiting the terminal. One of the smoothest LAX experiences I've ever had. I don't often hear that sentence, so I'm glad to hear that in this case. However, the same person mentioned some problems on their way in, and it wasn't so much an LAWA problem or necessarily part of LA Exit, but it has to do with the rideshare companies. Traffic into the CTA the Tuesday before Thanksgiving was unsurprisingly gridlocked as far back as Manchester, and the navigation app started rerouting off Sepulveda through residential neighborhoods, which of course always bothers me. And Uber's navigation apparently was not up to date on the LAMP road closures, and it tried to send the Uber down Jenny, which is closed. So this person ended up getting out of the Uber at Westchester Parkway and walked all the way to Terminal 6. So, one, I'd like to see what we can do to follow up to make sure that the LAMP road closures are incorporated, shared directly with the rideshare companies, but also incorporated with the mapping companies as well. Because that's going to be a moving target with the road closures, and we want to make sure they're updated. Because once you get stuck in there going the wrong way, you've just added like a day and a half to your commute. So,
yes, thank you for raising that. We'll make sure to get right on that.
Sure. Last Thanksgiving there were lots of problems. This Thanksgiving there were problems, but they were of a different sort, and in some ways they were improved. Were there fewer cars in the CTA this year compared to last?
There were fewer cars in the CTA this year. Versus last year, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, we certainly saw that there was about a 12 to 15% decrease on both the Wednesday before and the Sunday after Thanksgiving in the CTA. So we did see fewer vehicles, yes.
And I know it's kind of hard to ask this when you're talking about Thanksgiving, because I guess it's a little bit like asking, which side of your mouth you prefer the root canal on, but how was this year's traffic in the CTA compared to last year's traffic in the CTA? Was there any measurable difference?
So I think that, one of the differences that we could certainly see is because of creating that that kind of bus rapid transit lane on the inner curb on the lower level, which is now being used by LAWA operated buses and shuttles, the flyaway, those that are going to serve transit, those were able to move through, very well. And so that was something that we certainly saw as an improvement. The rest of the traffic, when you're dealing with the super peak in the CTA, really, it's at capacity for hours, and it gets kind of metered by the traffic lights heading into it. So it continues to move, but you're going to have those hours when it's going to be at capacity.
Is there a discernible or appreciable difference between one level of the CTA to another?
So we've seen more evening out between the upper and lower levels now since this change. Before, it was consistently that the upper level was not movable, and the lower level was, if there was somewhere to be, then the lower level was better. We have seen an evening out so that, the upper level has seen improvements. The lower level now is at about the same level as the upper level. We know that that's not going to last. And one of the things that, we're conscious to remind people is that, this is LA Exit is not the fix to traffic. We know that the fix to traffic at LAX is the automated people mover train, which, thanks to all of your support, we have that construction well underway. This is really to prevent things from getting to an untenable situation where traffic is out into your constituents' neighborhoods every single day while we build that train.
What feedback have you been getting from the neighborhood in the past week or so?
So I think that we've definitely seen improvements in that feedback. I've been hearing from people as I've been out and talking to the community, hearing from the neighborhood that they have seen the improvements from those first days of LA Exit. I think that some of the traffic adjustments that I mentioned affecting Little Century and Century have definitely been appreciated by those in the gateway bid, and so which was something that was important to us, and we had heard from them in the opening days. I think that just very anecdotally, the kind of volume of complaints that I've heard this Thanksgiving versus last Thanksgiving have certainly been lower.
Sure.
And so, we're heartened by that. And I think that, that was a result of just a lot of hard work that went into being nimble and making changes as we saw issues arise.
Do we have any way of knowing, other than the calls that you may get or I may get, about what impact LA Exit has had on Uber or Lyft's queuing in Westchester residential areas?
So I don't have a way of quantifying that. I think that one of the things that that we'll continue to talk about is some of the data that we are interested in getting going forward. And I know that that the Transportation Committee will be considering that next week as well. And we've been having conversations with this committee as well. And so that's the kind of information that I think we'll be interested in looking at going forward. But it is also something that I can say that in the in the frequent conversations that we have been having with both Uber and Lyft about all of the operational changes that we need to see, one of the things that we have certainly mentioned to them is concerns about that and urging them to try to minimize that as much as they can, eliminate it as much as they can.
Yes, we'll eliminate it entirely.
Yes, exactly.
Last question, and I'll preface it by just saying I think I was really excited to see all the different alternative transportation options that the airport helped provide. I think that was phenomenal. I'd like to see it every day, all the time. I think it's a great start. We at LA Metro, when the Blue Line was closed before it became the A Line, they were shutting down part of it, and they were doing bus rapid transit downtown, and it was phenomenally successful. And it showed that there's a real appetite for stuff. What was the reception to the stuff you did? And I mean, it all happened very quickly. So how did the word get out? And when we do it again, and I'm assuming we will do it again, how are we going to get the word out more widely and sooner?
Yes, so for getting the word out, we used kind of the traditional routes as far as a lot of social media, a lot of getting it out to the traditional media, who we were pleased to see really seized on it very much and getting the word out. We also did some small paid social media campaigns to be able to get the word out on that as well. And we did see, and I think that the probably word of mouth and things started to pick up as we went along, that people were hearing about it more and more. And so, and I was getting, and I apologize, I didn't think to bring them with me, but I got some metrics earlier today on, on the take up of those social, or the paid media campaign that we did, which was very positive. And so I think that, we're going to be looking at how do we do some more of that. And now that we've seen that there is an appetite for these options, then we are certainly, immediately looking at what do we do leading into the December holidays, and how do we actually build on some of this to be permanent as well, potentially.
So I flew middle of November on United, and United now texts me everything. Your gate is here, your boarding is going to start at this time, your luggage will be here. Is there any way to get or encourage the airlines when they do that text notification to let them know about alternative transportation options?
That's certainly something we can explore with them. We've had partnerships with the airlines on other notifications that we want to see made in the past, and so that's something that's something we can certainly explore with them as well.
That's a great way of doing
Yep.
it. Not a lot of people when they fly think of LAWA. They think of United, they think of
Yes.
JetBlue, or whatever. But they hear more from the actual airline they're traveling on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bono. We've been joined by Mr. Krikorian. Paul, to comment? I know we're good. Fantastic. My only question, I again appreciate your responsiveness to this committee's concerns when we brought this forth a month ago, and happy to see the improvements. But in response to the testimony by the cab drivers who are here, you've said it, and you stated in your presentation, you have been meeting with them regularly, and you have been responsive, and I appreciate that. They're here for a reason. They're concerned, of course, but we wanted to be sure that we're also responsive to those concerns. In light of some of the trip analysis, kind of dipped down a little bit from what they proposed to us and what they presented to us. What's your response to some of these numbers by the taxi trip analysis?
Yes, and so I will need to take a closer look at some of those. I note that we have seen some dips. I know that the TNCs have also seen some dips since the opening of LA exit, and I want to be able to compare those as well. And
you're sharing that data with the cab drivers. And when you'll get that information, correct, when you meet with them?
Share the TNC dips as well, yes, to the extent that's information that we have that's non-proprietary, right. Absolutely. I think that the year-over-year number, which I know is very concerning on the Sunday after Thanksgiving, I know that there were year-over-year declines even before LA exit, so I think that that's potentially compounding, but certainly, concerned to see those numbers. As I said, I very much appreciate the concerns that have been raised by the taxi drivers and companies. We want to continue to work with them to address their concerns as best as we can, while still being able to maintain the operation during construction.
And I appreciate the fact that you've given them more queue space compared to what they had in the CTA.
Yes.
And also, do you think that the current lot size is sufficient? Do you foresee the need to further expand LA exit and the lot size as we move in the coming months or the coming years as we're redeveloping the airport?
We have done this Phase 3 expansion, which is right now really some swing space that we have not allocated to any mode. We continue to look at whether that's space that we want to allocate or do we want to be able to use that as flexible space. That's the area where we did have this pilot program on Saturday evening with giving the taxis 2 additional lanes there. They chose not, in working with their dispatch, they chose not to exercise that option on Sunday evening, but it's something that we'll continue to look at, how we can use that space to...
So in addition to more queue space, you allowed them an additional lane.
Right.
And they opted not to use that additional
Right,
lane.
so they did a test on Saturday evening, opted not to do it on Sunday evening because it's in a different part of the lot. But we continue to look at different ways. We also used part of that expansion area for some, additional driving area on Sunday evening. So we'll continue, I think that the past month has shown that we are, that we are not wedded to one configuration of this lot, that we want to make sure that we're being flexible. At the same time, we also want to be, encouraging the use of modes like the mass transit modes that we did expand over Thanksgiving. And so, we are not looking to, expand this indefinitely.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation. And what we'll do, members, we'll continue this. Just want to be sure we have this sitting in committee in the event there's another issue arises with the passenger experience coming in and out of the airport. So thank you for the presentation.
Thank you very much.
All right, that'll be the order. If we can turn now to the special agenda. I know we have cards on the special agenda. Mr. Clerk, we have cards on all 3 items?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we'll do multiple again on the special. Say we have Corey. Okay, if you can just sync that, that'll be helpful. I'm assuming it's Corey.
I'm sorry?
Is it Corey?
Yes.
Okay, Corey, come forward. Okay, go ahead.
Hey. All right, Corey Schmidt for the record. Okay, so we got 3 items on this special meeting. Okay, so we are going to be covering the acquisition. We're going to be getting upgrades to the baggage handling system, and I agree, baggage is a problem. So I think we should be taking care of that baggage. Let's see. Also, another big topic. Spending about $9 million, a little over $9 million, to insulate the sound of the airport for local neighbors, I believe. I think that's actually a really good idea. I'm not sure if it's enough money because I live near the airport as well, and I know what noise is like when you've got airplanes just flying over your house. It's you can't think, you can't work, you can't do anything in your house. So I totally agree with this measure, or motion, I mean. Let's see, and then we are going to be cutting someone's lease early. So I believe we'll be covering the $5 million, I guess, of the termination fee. That's what I think it says, but it says there's going to be a revenue loss of $4 million. So I believe we're going to be covering that. I'm a fan of leniency. I would like leniency if I was in that situation. I would like to know how to get into that information loop. That's kind of a cool thing to be into. Because, I've seen in other things where people are paying like billions of dollars for the lease and then someone else is not paying any. So I'd like to know how to get in on that. Other than that, those are my thoughts, so thank you for my time.
Thank you. I'm assuming Wayne. Yeah. Wayne, come on up. 2 minutes. And then it's not going through.
Oh, it's probably because you're...
I'm on the Well, good. Thank you.
Yeah. So Of course, for the record, Mr. Krikorian is wearing the same suit and tie the last 2 days.
Stated the items last morning.
Probably got divorced. Okay, so now we get to number
forfeited
2.
your time. You
What?
forfeited your time. You're out of here. You're not speaking to the items.
Hey, wait a minute.
Goodbye.
Wait a minute,
Goodbye.
jack off. You didn't give me a warning.
Yes, I
This
did.
is a special meeting.
Get out.
This is a special
You're
meeting.
out.
This is a special meeting.
You're out.
Mr. City Attorney, this is a special
told you
meeting.
speak
There
on
was
the
no
items,
guy-
and you're
hey,
not
there was
speaking
no
to the
fucking
items.
warning, man.
Goodbye.
Bro, there was no warning, bro.
Mr. Spindler,
Bro, there was no warning, bro. There was no warning, bro.
Talking about
Spindler,
you know the rules.
you've been warned. You must.
This is a separate meeting. This is not the regular meeting. It's a special meeting.
We're not
There wasn't
talking
warning
about
on
the
the
Korean's
special
tie. You're out of here. Get out.
Really?
Goodbye.
Oh, is that right? Mr.
Speak to the items.
Seabreeze.
Goodbye.
Spindler is continuing to disrupt the meeting
you so
even
much.
as we speak.
Okay, Herman, you're up. On the special agenda, 2 minutes. Okay, Wayne Spindler continues to disrupt this meeting as he's leaving.
64 straw donors, Mr. Fusco, 71,000 illegal donations. See you later, Vice President.
Very good, you're up.
So would you please
Put
restart my
the
time?
phone down.
please?
Put the phone down.
Would you please restart my time?
Give him a few minutes.
Still running.
Your time is still running. Go ahead. Your time is running.
Listen, nigger, start the time over for me, please. I
Okay,
asked you
speak to the items. That's your last warning. Speak to the items.
City of Inglewood for the release of $9,275,000 in which the mayor of Mr. Butts is under an investigation by the FBI because of his dealings with corruption, abuse, and fraud. And that is a fuck up motherfucker black nigger. CEQA guidelines. Then you have last day for council action regarding resolution for Lawa lease. That is a $5 million, and the FBI needs to get their fucking ass over here and investigate these fucking white-collar criminals who keep fucking stealing money by federal and state dollars under Article Class 3. Yes, the Los Angeles City guidelines and administrators are not exempt. You're fucking under an FBI investigation, you fucking pushing, peddling fucking piece of shit. Chongo nigger motherfuckers. Don't you get your fucking stupid ideas from where? You're covering up the LAX. You don't got nothing to protect the people who have disabilities when it comes to this fucking money laundering scheme. People are just fucking tired of these guidelines. The committee impact statement not submitted because those fucking Italians, those niggers, those fucking Jews are all fucking countrymen are fucking up the United States. God bless Trump. Trump!
Don't scream in the mic. Okay, with that, any other speakers? Oh, Jonathan Erebholo? Erebholo? All right, Sharmila Shad? Gary Vogan? Mike Greenspan? Red Chief? Okay. Back to regular programming. Okay, on the special agenda, Mr. Krikorian, would you like to hold any of these items, 1, 2, or 3? Okay. Thank you. We'll approve then items 1 and 3 on consent, and Mr. Bonin wants a hold. That'll be without objection. We will then hear item number 2. If you can read that, Mr. Clerk, into the record.
Yes, sir. Item 2, Board of Airport Commissioners report and the CO2 report relative to resolution number 26900 for the Lawa letter of agreement with the City of Inglewood for the release of $9,275,000 for the residential sound and insulation grant implementation plan 15 and request council to approve to not obtain any easements in connection thereto and related environmental exemption.
Mr. Bonin.
Thank you very much. I can be quick and I can be blunt. Inglewood's getting theirs. I want Westchester and Playa del Rey to get theirs.
Understood.
So,
Mark Adams, Los Angeles World Airports.
I know that the program closed years ago. Lots of new folks have moved in, and we have had talks, and I know Commissioner Velasco, the Vice Chair of the Commission, has been pushing for a very long time for us to try to reopen this program for Westchester and Playa del Rey. Where are we?
Right now, we are making progress with FAA in the parameters for opening a new program that would be eligible to City of LA residents. This City of LA program, as you're aware, closed out about 5 years ago after being opening in the late 90s. And so it was a very active program. We insulated a large number of homes, but there were some that declined or were not insulated for one reason or another. Since that time, FAA has issued new program guidance for how these programs should be implemented and administered. And we're working with them on trying to figure out a way to get a new program going. And also, at the same time, looking at our internal resources and what we would have to do in terms of standing up a new program, since all the staff who worked on the old program have gone their various ways at this point, the consultants and contractors that we had under contract. So
I have
at this
ultimate
point,
faith that you guys will figure it out on your end. What can we do on the FAA end? What's the next step? When can I expect?
I think we need to continue to have conversations with FAA, but I think we're moving in the right direction. FAA's initial reaction was no, and their current stand is we need to talk about this and figure out a way. And so I think we're making progress. I don't want to commit to a date certain on this, but I'd be happy to get better information from you, from the people who are negotiating with FAA and trying to figure out exactly what the timeline might be for.
Yeah, let's follow up on that, and then we can have a discussion about whether or not I should be engaging some of our legislators to help, or if that's counterproductive. I don't know.
We hear
We'll just
you.
follow up.
We hear you well. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You okay to move on this, Mr. Bonin? Okay, so Mr. Krikorian, you good on this?
Yeah.
Item 2? Okay, so without objection, we'll approve item 2 and send that to council. Okay, whew, I think we got through T3 today.
Well done.
It's our last meeting of the year. Happy New Year, happy holidays, y'all. I think it's been a good year for us and for this committee. Appreciate the leadership of Mr. Krikorian, Mr. Bonin, and to the port, the airport, and all of tourism-related items and issues that come before this committee. It's been a good year. So here's the 2020, and we'll see you next year. We're now adjourned. Thank you.